Hey everybody, it is Natalie from Power Moon Tarot. These are your messages for the upcoming week ahead for the week starting March 23rd to March 30th. And boy, do we have a week ahead that we will need to strap ourselves in for. Today is the day of the Sun-Venus conjunction during the Venus retrograde, what we call the Venus Sun Kazemi, and during the middle of this coming week we'll have a Mars Chiron square that is happening at 21 Cancer. For those of you that have planets in Aries or Cancer, in the later degrees of Aries or Cancer, you're probably going to feel that one, and the middle of the week may be feeling a little nasty, especially as we're in that dark moon heading towards the new moon solar eclipse, which takes place next Saturday. We have our final solar eclipse in Aries, and I know my Aries and Libra friends, man, have we been going through it with these Aries Libra eclipses. Man, have they been challenging. And I have a friend of mine, like a bunch of trouble. She's an Aries, but she's a Libra rising, and a bunch of trouble started for her. I think it was like November of 2024, I want to say, or October of 2024, when her trouble really started, and right in the middle of all the Aries Libra eclipse stuff. But anyway, I know a lot of people out there are really trying to work through this energy, and it feels like we're swimming against the tide, and sometimes we just have to give up and let go, and hope that it gets better at some point. So with that, I am going to go ahead and get into the piles. We have pile number 1, which is the higher consciousness pile, and it is representing the energy of Sirius, Pleiades, and Arcturus. If you're feeling that energy, you'll choose pile number 1. For pile number 2, we have the Taj Mahal in India, and the word on this card is love. And we see the pink sunset with the doves in the background. If you're feeling that, you'll choose pile number 2. And for pile number 3, we have magic in Glastonbury, Britain, or the UK. If you're feeling the magic, and you can see the beautiful greens and the sun coming through, and this beautiful cup of fulfillment sitting in the middle, if you're resonating with the energy of the word magic, you'll choose pile number 3. So I'll be putting the timestamps in the description box below. You can go directly to your pile. We just had the spring equinox. I was walking the other day and I saw butterflies and flowers blooming for the first time, which does make me very happy. So I do love springtime, even though the allergies are in full bloom. Do you guys like springtime? You can leave your comment below. And how are you doing out there with this eclipse energy? It's a lot. I'm not going to lie. It really is a lot. And I mentioned this week during my year ahead forecast as being extremely critical in 2025 and having a lot going on it. So not surprised. And I'm going to go ahead and ring the bell. For those of you that would like to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Blue Sky at Natalie H Astrology. If you'd like a reading with me, whether that's a tarot reading or a natal chart reading, details are in the description box below. And I'm going to go ahead and ring the bell. Okay. And let us begin. Pile number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose Higher Consciousness, card 21. And this card is representing the energy of the Sirius, Pleiades, and Arcturus stars, and really talking about coming through with that energy of higher consciousness, okay? And let's go ahead and get into your reading. Pile number 1. We are going to be looking at the upcoming energies for your week ahead. This is a weekly forecast effective March 23rd through March 30th. So let's go ahead and take a look and see for my pile number ones, please. What is the energy moving forward into the upcoming week for pile number one, please? What is the energy moving forward to the upcoming week? What does pile number one need to know about the energy that's going to jump forward next week? Okay. The Hierophant on the bottom of the deck. The Hierophant can be kind of dogmatic at times. It does resonate with Taurus energy. Sometimes we can back ourselves into a corner by being too dogmatic. That can be a downside of the Hierophant, and we block out everybody else's views and opinions, and we won't take any advice or listen to anything because we're only concerned about, you know, what we know and following the path that we know to be tried and true. Which sometimes is helpful when we need to block out other people's voices and we just need to focus. But pile number one, let's go ahead and see what we have going on. We have the Queen of Wands, spicy. We have the Knight of Wands, spicy. And we have the Ace of Pentacles. A spicy new beginning for you, pile number one, if you want it. Now, you can close yourself off and do the same old thing and not pay attention to what new is coming in, but I feel like you always have the option to do that, right? You don't have to accept these new things coming into your world right now or ever. It's up to you, pile number one. And I do feel like there's an offering. I'm getting something about a peace offering being made by somebody else who pops into your world unexpectedly. And you're like, well, I kind of knew I was going to be hearing from people during this Venus retrograde. I didn't expect it to be you, okay? And I feel you're a little bit suspicious, either A, suspicious, B, disappointed, or C, not really trusting what someone is telling you based upon what they've done in the past, right? What's that saying about how past is prologue or past is, I don't know, I can't think of it right now. I'm channeling, but basically how the past predicts the future, right? And so I feel like, yeah, somebody is kind of lightning fast popping in on you to see you. And I feel like you're kind of not okay with the interruption, okay, pile number one, or you find the interruption for some reason a little bit offensive, or you're trying, and maybe it's because of this Hierophant energy that you're trying to block everything out and not focus on something and block all distractions out. So somebody does come bursting through the scene, I feel like here, pile number one, but you definitely have your guard up is what I feel. So let's see what else we've got going on. We have Ceres and Nurture. We have many choices. Wow. You have options, even if you don't see them right now. Get creative and look around. Pull a card for each option to see what is best. Okay. Well, and the Queen of Wands, very sexy energy, very commanding and in control. I'm the one in control. I'm the one calling the shots. You know, I'm busy washing my hair, organizing my closet, going through my clothes. I'm busy vacuuming. I'm busy reorganizing my bookshelf and putting away my dishes. I don't have time to talk to you, type of thing. Okay, but I also feel like you're celebrating next week in a way because you're realizing how many choices you do have, and you don't have to limit yourself to just one thing. We have control issues. Oh boy, right? Who has control in a situation? Fear of losing power or false security leads to vulnerability. Release trust and empowerment. Okay. So control issues. All right. We'll see. We've got confidence. I love that. The more that you take care of yourself, the more that you self-care, the more that you nurture yourself, that's the key to your confidence. Pile number one. The more that you place those cucumbers under your eyes, the more that you spend a little bit more time, picking out something that looks sexy, the more that you, I'm seeing something about a black vest or a black backpack is also what I am seeing here too, or maybe a black jacket. A black jacket that you get, because I am seeing this black right here in between her arms and her chest. Maybe you're carrying something that's black or you're wearing something that's black, but it's confidence, right? And the more that you nurture yourself and the more that you just like let things play out and take things at their own time and their own pace, the better of a look it is on you. We have consciousness here. Okay, somebody really waking up to the fact that, they should be talking to you. You are the holy grail for them. And so really somebody finally becoming aware of just what a bold and sexy and powerful person that you are, pile number one. And you're like, well, I knew all along. I can't believe they didn't know. And it might have just been a fight for control over who has the upper hand, like not wanting to admit that you like someone or this other person. When we get into control issues, we can really be talking about Taurus Hierophant energy. We can talk about needing to always, you see how this Hierophant is sitting above the two people that he is counseling or teaching or lecturing. So that's a position of power over another person, to want to be in a higher position or to be the one that is rejecting suitors instead of the one being rejected. And also Taurus does have a thing about having control in situations. All the fixed signs do, really. Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, they all can get a little too into the control issues at times. We have self-doubt, shadows, deep fears, and doubt creep. A specter haunting where courage sleeps, okay? And sometimes somebody is having doubts about something and another person is having control issues and the other person is having doubts. It creates quite a recipe. We have addiction, codependent obsession, possession, controlling. Again, we have the word possession and controlling. The word controlling is actually on here twice, and controlling behavior can come from having self-doubt or wanting to control because you feel like the other person has like a lot of options, or you're starting to become aware that that person, it's an interesting thing because it reminds me of my youngest sister, pile number one, who's like, she's gorgeous. She's very beautiful. She's a lovely person. She's dated this guy off and on for most of her adult life. And he frequently would like put her down. He was kind of a loser, and she was so well loved and well liked by everyone and such a sweet human being. And he was just kind of like a loser, scum of the earth. And, I think he would decimate her self-esteem to have control of her so that she wouldn't leave him, or he would kind of like try to lower her down to his level so that she would not leave him. Okay. And so this is a really interesting thing. And for those of you, I don't know what made me think of that situation in your reading. Maybe some of you are going through that, or you've experienced that in the past and you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're like, yep, Okay. And, you know, somebody who's very controlling and insistent and very demanding about what they want. Okay. And constantly coming in and out, in and out, in and out of your life. This can be where somebody is very has an obsession towards you, but also is very possessive of you. Even if they're not dating you, they don't want you to date anyone else, that type of energy. Okay. And sometimes after, you know, and she looks pretty like worn out after this whole ordeal. And that's why like a lot of self-care with the Ceres energy and nurturing is here. And that's why the self-care is restoring confidence and it restoring a sense of pride in oneself instead of letting oneself be controlled by somebody else who is controlling and possessive. And like constantly kind of like popping in and popping out of your life. Pile number 1, okay? We have Yesod, the Sephirah Yesod here. And Yesod has to do with the moon. Somebody could really have mommy issues, and somebody here could have, you know, has really worked hard to define themselves outside of the codependent relationship that they once had with their mother, or somebody felt like they had to be, somebody here is becoming consciously aware. And it may not be that you hate your mother or they're the worst person ever, pile number 1, but you know, whether it's you or this other person with the mommy issues, somebody has mommy issues here. And this can be where we're finally waking up to the fact where we've been kind of like taking orders or taking direction from somebody who doesn't really have it together that much either. And somebody who has been like, we're becoming aware that we have other options and there are other people that we can talk to, and that we deserve respect, right? And if somebody cannot respect our decisions and who we're becoming in the world, and we can't define ourselves. See, my dog just barked right now because she doesn't like that. She doesn't like the disrespectfulness. Okay. But like, you know, if we can't define ourselves separately from someone else and they take offense to that, that's codependent behavior, right? And a lot of times that happens in families with mothers and daughters or mothers and sons, and trying to keep their children close. So they need them to be a certain way or be just like them, you know? And with the Hierophant, we learn to rise above those situations, and we learn to define what has meaning philosophically for us individually without that other person being involved. And we have multidimensionality here. Yeah, you're a complex person, pile number 1, and you chose the higher consciousness pile with Sirius, Pleiades, and Arcturus. So this is just verifying your connection to multidimensional realms and saying that your soul really cannot be confined to one specific person or one specific thing. And that as a person who is conscious and celebrating yourself and celebrating emotional freedom and smooth sailing ahead, like here she has a bunch of balloons and she's looking out to the water, and the water is very calm and it looks like she is having a really good time on the water. Like, you know, this is about emotionally feeling light and free emotionally, and realizing you have many options, even if you don't see them right now. Get creative and look around, okay? And so you have many choices and many options, and multidimensionality activates our awareness of our true essence, which is eternal and multidimensional. And Yesod is a great energy for getting creative and for traveling through the astral plane and for conscious travel through the astral plane, which is, I mean, the astral plane is going to be hugely active during the next week ahead. And it is going to be bringing forth energy of higher consciousness, because there is like a major solar eclipse happening. There's a Venus Neptune conjunction at 29 degrees Pisces on March 27th, which I said for a lot of people is going to be a huge mind expansion, spiritual opening for people. So pile number one, I think you're one of those people that could really be moving beyond like those controlling, codependent, self-doubting issues and moving towards a more emotional lightness and emotional freedom and emotional cleansing, and more towards self-nurturing and multidimensionality. So pile number one, that is what I am getting for you, my friends. I hope that that reading resonated for you, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. If you know who I'm talking about, or you can verify any details from the reading, I would be happy to hear your comments. And let's go ahead and move on to pile number two. Pile number two, welcome to your reading. You chose love and the Taj Mahal in India, and today's reading is called The Weekly Forecast Ahead. We're going to be looking at the energies for next week or this coming week ahead and what is coming your way. It's a big week. We have the Sun Venus Cazimi today. We've got a Mars Chiron square in the middle of the week. We've got a historic Venus retrograde with Neptune in the final degree of Pisces conjunction, last conjunction of our lifetime that we'll see Neptune and Pisces in a conjunction with Venus like that. So we still have a little more Neptune and Pisces like later on this year when Neptune goes retrograde, but it's not going to be in conjunction with a retrograde Venus ever again in our lifetime. So that's a pretty big deal, pile number two. And we have a big solar eclipse coming up next weekend in Aries. So let's go ahead and take a look, my lovies, and see what is the energy coming through for next week for pile number two, please. Ooh, the Lovers. Ooh, you guys picked the love pile, and the Lovers literally just popped up in my hand there as I was shuffling. And the Lovers in this deck in particular is very juicy. And we've got the Star card on the bottom of the deck. Our individual destinies are connecting to the cosmos and to something bigger beyond ourselves. I love that, pile number two. We have the Nine of Pentacles, busy, busy. We have the Knight of Swords, can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man. And the Seven of Swords, I'm neither here nor there. That's a lot of Mercury trickery going on in your reading. Mercury is also retrograde during this entire thing. And there is like a lot of like quick situations that we have to quickly figure out and that we have to stay on our A game about. And I do think you're going to have quite a busy week when it comes to work, pile number two, or when it comes to your goals. Or it's very important this week, whether you have like a, you're self-employed or you're retired or you work for a company. It's very important this week that you do some of the things that you love doing from a getting shit done perspective. Like, if you have a side business where you crochet scarves, crochet the shit out of some scarves, pile number two. If you have a side hustle where you make candles and sell lotions and, cut hair on the side. Sell the hell out of those lotions, okay? Pile number 2. You know, there's money to be made this week. There's money on the table with the 9 of Pentacles. And yeah, and the 9 of Pentacles is good living. It's good living, and it's plenty of material resources and plenty of opportunities to reach out and grab something and throw a little extra into what you're doing and make it even better than it was before. So, I mean, I like that for you guys. That feels very constructive as far as, you know, sell the shit out of that thing, really get it moving. Other people maybe very, what's the word? I've got 2 words for you, pile number 2. They may be A, very uninhibited and acting out of pocket, or 2, very just unpredictable, okay? And I feel like you've got the secret sauce this week to make something really, really good. And your ideas are on fire. Your schedule's a little bit of a mess, and you may have people like canceling last minute when you're trying to plan something or do something. You know, and you may have people in your life that are very, you know, for those of you that are parents, it's like, fuck, my kid missed the bus, or, you know, I got them up and I got them all ready and they missed the freaking bus by like 2 minutes, and now I have to drive them to school, and now I'm running late for my meeting. Or, you know, I called to reschedule that appointment with the receptionist. They took down all the notes, and then they still charged me anyway, you know, like that type of stuff. I went to 2 different stores to try to find the ingredients that I needed, and both of them were out. What should I do? Right? So there's a need to get creative, and there's a need to try different mixes in your recipe of life, if you will, pile number 2. So let's see what we've got going on here. And you guys are probably like, well, Natalie, it sounds like I'm on my game, but it sounds like everyone else is fucking up. And yeah, pile number 2, sometimes that does happen. But I feel like Spirit is saying only you can do what you do. No one can do it like you, okay? Nobody does it quite like you. Remember that, pile number 2. We have Saturn and structure. Yeah, Saturn's going to be a big influence. Saturn is going to be up in the mix, pile number 2. We've got a bunch of planets in Pisces. We're going to have Venus retrograde, Neptune, Mercury's going to be moving back into Pisces. We've got Saturn there. Like, we've got a big old party in Pisces, and Saturn's in the middle of all of it, okay? And for those of us that are planners and we like to measure everything out and do everything by the books, the like missing of schedules and the interruptions to plans may feel very aggravating, okay? And let's see what else. We've got influence. Use your influence for change. You may do public speaking, social videos, or interviews. Your voice and opinion is important. Yeah, and that's coming out on the Knight of Swords, okay? If you can, you know, you might be like, well, it's too late. I got behind. My schedule sucks. I can't catch up. I did want to go online. I did want to post what I was doing on social media. I did want to make that video, but my schedule got behind and everything sucks and da-da-da-da-da. Just, I feel like you need to do something spontaneous this week. And even if you don't have, like, if you have an idea for a video or a webcast or a podcast or something on social media that you're trying to do to promote yourself, I feel like you're getting a gentle nudge from the universe to kind of just go for it, okay? And making peace. In the midst of adversity lies the path to self-discovery. Profound, genuine, and risk, okay? And, you know, the 7 of Swords is definitely taking a risk. that what I'm going to do is going to be found out, or something that I do is going to be called out. I'm going to get caught doing something that I shouldn't be doing. Okay. And making peace with our limitations and our karma is very much a Saturnian thing. And that's something you guys are definitely going to be working on next week. We have Ghost. It reminds me of that song. When I need you, you're never there. Never there. You're never there. Okay. I think it's a song by a group called Cake, called Never There. Take some time to get to know me. If you something, my one and only. But when I need you, you're never there, type thing. Okay. This is where it's really hard to rely on someone else. For those of you that have kids and you share schedule with, you know, like a baby daddy or mama or something like that, they may really be fucking up this week. Okay. Or you have something on the schedule with a client and they missed their appointment, and then they're still trying to get back on your schedule and not pay to like rebook with you, like that type of stuff. Okay. And then you tell them, no, you have to follow the rules. I need you to follow the rules. This is the cancellation policy. This is what the rules are. And then they ghost on you and they flake on you. Okay. So some of that may be going on next week. Pile number 2, we have rest. If they don't show up, good. Lay down and take a break. Okay. Right. And you may be trying to decide, like, I really want to, honor what I've committed to, but I'm tired and I'm exhausted. And last time that person didn't show up anyway. So I don't really feel like changing my schedule a million times for them now. I'm just going to cancel on them and take a break. Okay. But that's fine. Pile number 2. If somebody cancels on you, take it as a sign that you were meant to take a break. Okay. Like if somebody ghosts you or somebody doesn't show up on time, whatever, ditches their responsibilities, doesn't come at the right time, take a nap. Pile number 2. I'm going to tell you right here and now. And that's what I've been doing. I've just been napping and napping and napping. I mean, these eclipses are really exhausting, and all this energy in Pisces is like sucking the life out of me. So if you need to take a nap, pile number 2, take one. We have Skeleton, A Curse of the Bones, Time and Dust, things that were never meant to last, okay? And things that were never meant to last, or things that turned around and reversed at the last minute, or, you know, making peace that something just wasn't very stable and what a person was telling you was a lie, or this thing that I thought that was really stable over time has shown to be not showing up for me and isn't really there for me. And you know what? I'm just having to make peace with that. Okay. And the skeleton and the bones are ruled by Saturn. The bones are the structure that holds our body together, you know. And some of you may be forced to do math over the next week and measure something, is also what I'm getting. Or you need to measure the impact of you like not showing up and instead deciding to rest and take a break instead of and making peace with the fact that you can't always be 1,000% dependable all the time. Maybe you are a single parent and your schedule takes adjustments a lot. Maybe you have a chronic illness and you want to be a dependable person, but sorry, if my body can't physically get up and move, then it can't, you know. we have to be able to make peace with our limitations in life, pile number 2. Um, and I feel like that's something that you're doing this week, is saying, okay, like, I'm going to work when I can work. I'm going to sell the shit out of that thing. But if so-and-so doesn't show up for this thing that I'm doing, I'm fine. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to rest. Also, I'm going to remind you, pile number 2, for those of you that need to make a dentist appointment, or you need to make some type of a doctor appointment, this isn't the week. I wouldn't schedule it for this week because everything's really like up in the air this week. But if you can schedule something for like later in April, like towards the end of the month in April, that would be ideal. If you can schedule an appointment, okay? Because I'm getting something about the bones and the teeth, and I see the teeth right here actually on this photo. So perhaps some of you are needing to take care of the teeth, or make an appointment to take care of the teeth, okay? And just remember, if somebody cancels an appointment, take it as an opportunity to rest. We have mirror, okay? We've got our self-image and how relationships can reflect our wounds, and how with the amount of time and introspection, we start to learn more about ourselves, and we start to make peace with the parts of ourselves that are not perfect, okay? Saturn definitely is not about perfection. Saturn is about embracing our limitations and making peace and acceptance. Like, we have this making peace card here, that we can't outwit and out strategize and be clever than everyone 1,000% of the time. And that if we're constantly on the run and changing plans and stop, go, stop, go, stop, go all the time, it takes a toll on our nervous system. And sometimes we have to crash out and take a break from things, okay? And yeah, so we can talk about how our relationships reflect our wounds. And this may be a case where you are very mature. I feel a lot of you with this 9 of Pentacles and Saturn card, a lot of you are very mature. You had to mature at a very early age. You had a lot of responsibilities from a very early age in your life. But you've dated, or you've had relationships, whether that be friendships, dating, etc., with people who are very unreliable, and people who are very like live life by the seat of their pants, and who are not very structured and dependable. And because of that, I feel like some of those people have kind of left you in a lurch sometimes. I'm also seeing the energy of 2 things, of a rabbit and a bird, or 2 rabbits and 2 birds. Okay, so I just have to mention that. Maybe you'll see one when you're out. I'm definitely seeing a shape of a rabbit here, or a backpack that is shaped like a rabbit, which is kind of weird. But yeah, relationships reflect our wounds and introspection. And yeah, I do feel like you guys have always kind of worked better on your own and individually, because you've always had to be very industrious. And maybe there's some perfectionism with the 9 of Pentacles, where you have to be very strict and disciplined and structured, Saturn energy. Okay, but you've dealt with people in your life who are very like, who think that they're really smart and try to take the easy way out all the time, or who are constantly like bluffing about things, or constantly like pushing the limits of what they can get away with. And it's just tiring after a while, you know, it's really tiring after a while. And maybe some of you are realizing that you need a break from that, or you need to speak out about that. It's something you'd like to speak on. We have earth energy. Yeah, you guys, I feel like very solid, stable, mature, you know, serious people, right? I don't know. Have you guys ever seen that show? What's it called? Why can't I think of the name right now? It's with the 4 kids or the 3 kids, and they're all born into this wealthy family, and they have this father who's like a billionaire, and he refuses to give the company to them. It starts with an S. Why can't I think of it? Succession. I don't know why I can think of it. And it's a TV show. If you guys have seen, you should totally watch it. I think you'd like it, pile number 2. But Succession, it's an interesting show, very clever writing in it. And the father looks at the children who he's cruel to them the whole time, but none of them are like bright enough to really take over the company. Neither do they have enough experience either. And he looks at his children and he's like, none of you are like serious people, right? Meaning you're all vying for this company, but I can't really trust you with this company. And it's kind of like this earth energy here. When I think of earth, I think of someone being a serious person or a serious contender, or somebody who's grounded in the rules of reality in life, who understands how the earth plane functions and isn't making like bonehead decisions all the time, right? And so yeah, the earth plane is a very exhausting place, and it is very you have to be very skilled to handle the energy of the earth plane. A lot of people are just faking it or fudging it or don't know how to do shit, actually. Pile number 2. And I feel like you're one of those people that knows how to do a lot of things, and a lot of people rely on you for things, but I feel like it's also very tiring, okay? And we have change here. The frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of reality. Yeah, and that's Saturn. Saturn and Neptune together, the forever changing nature of reality. Both inwardly and outwardly, our inner and outer realities are always shifting and changing. Yeah, it's a reality, but it's constantly shifting, so that we can appreciate the sweet release of the old and the birth of the new. The sweet release of the old structure from our life, of picking partners that just mirror our wounding, instead of bringing the wholeness to the table, and having a partner that also brings their wholeness to the table, where we feel like we can actually relax because we're with someone that knows how to make good proactive decisions about life, okay? And if there's certain things that you would like to change, especially taking care of yourself, whether I'm focused on the skull and the head here, for those of you who have a lot of headaches, tension headaches, jaw tension, teeth issues, I feel like those issues are really Saturnian, and they come down to having to carry too much responsibility for other people and feeling responsible for other people's successes or failures. And that feels very heavy, pile number 2. That's a very heavy feeling. And I do feel like it's something that you would like to change. And I do feel like you'd like to be more nimble, quicker on your feet. I do feel like you'd like to be maybe less dependable and more clever and more keeping people guessing type of energy. And because you've already kind of nailed the earth plane and the responsibilities of the earth plane, so it's kind of like integrating that other side is what I feel. Pile number 2. So those are some of the energies that I see coming up for next week for you guys. And I feel like you're changing, you're making peace with the past, and you're letting go of old relationship patterns. So pile number 2, that is what I am getting for you, my loves. I wish you the very best and take care. Let's move on to pile number 3. All right. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose the Magic card, and today's reading is a weekly forecast ahead for your week coming up ahead. We do have a major solar eclipse coming up in about a week. We also have a Mars Chiron square in the middle of the week, a Pisces dark moon that we'll be feeling in the middle of this coming week. And it may be a moment of low energy as we are building towards the new moon in Aries, okay? But pile number 3, let's go ahead and bring on the magic, my friends, and see what is ahead. What is the weekly forecast ahead for pile number 3, please? This is my Moon Tarot, pile number 3. It's a very interestingly shaped deck. I love it because it's very like light in my hands, and look at that purple color there. Isn't that pretty? There's the Knight of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. Unicorns flying through the sky. Oh my. And we've got the 9 of Cups. Ooh, I like that. That looks fun. The Queen of Staves, which is the Queen of Wands. And we have, ooh, the Devil. Okay. Freaky Funhouse Mirror, the Devil. All right. Pile number 3. There is something here about not getting caught up in the allure of something, okay? Because I feel like you can have a really good time next week with the 9 of Cups. I feel like you can really enjoy yourself. I feel like you can relax and let your hair down. I feel like you can soak in the magic of the moment. I feel like you can be spiritually connected and feeling artistic and turned on in the moment. Okay, all those things, feeling at home, feeling comfortable in your skin, feeling relaxed, feeling passionate, all of it, okay? Even maybe like drinking a little or smoking a little or getting a little fucked up, pile number 3, okay? Getting a little wacky tobacco, etc., etc. And, you know, sometimes we can just go too far with something and get really taken in by the allure of something, okay? And actually, with the Pisces energy, I feel like you're chilling, okay? Pile number 3, you're chilling. You're like, I'm just going to put on these Ray-Bans and smoke out and sit on my patio or sit on my back porch and watch the clouds roll in and watch the storm and then watch the rainbow, and then I'm going to wander back in and eat some chips with some guacamole, and then I'm going to watch my favorite TV show, then I'm going to take a bath, then I'm going to wash my hair. You know, it's very like nice. It's nothing too challenging. I feel like what really kind of pushes the button of reactionary kind of stuff is when we really start getting into the Aries energy, okay? And that's near the end of the week. So that's when we're having the solar eclipse in Aries on Saturday. And as we start leading into that, like on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like as we're starting to lead into the Aries energy, we're starting to, we're getting pulled in by the seductive allure of something, okay? And it's very easy to be taken with something that like looks really good, or to get kind of hypnotized by something because it makes us feel powerful, or it makes us feel really good about ourselves. And so it feels like it has to be right. And it's easy to fall for like a seductive thing that makes us feel really good and powerful about ourselves. And it's real easy to fall for that illusion, okay? And you see the moon, and why this is really reminding me of the eclipse is you see the star, you see a full moon and a crescent moon, and then you see like the crown on the devil actually looks like the sign of Aries, okay? And maybe there is someone with a moon in Aries in your life, or maybe you have moon in Aries, okay? Or there's a specific Aries in your life that's a real bitch, or there's a real hard time with this person, or you just know that this person is always very selfish and spiteful and prideful, and they're always casting an illusion, and they're actually coming from a really dark place, and you actually don't want anything to do with it, okay? There's the magic that we find just by living in the moment and being out in nature and experiencing moments of wonder, like, you know, staring at a spider web for like, I don't know, an hour and imagining the intricacies of it and getting lost in it. There's that kind of magic. And then there's illusionary magic where somebody is dressing us up. You know what I mean, pile number 3? When somebody is making us feel really good with their manipulations, and they're kind of like setting us up for failure, or they're setting us up to be duped or blindsided because they're making us feel a certain way about ourselves, or they're making us feel very powerful about ourselves, or they're very good at making themselves seem like they're very powerful when they're not, okay? And for some of you, this may even be like a dark sexuality or a sexual illusion coming into play as well, okay? But we're going to talk about that. Let's get into the reading. We have Virgo energy. That really resonates with this Knight of Pentacles that is right here. And to be cautious with ourselves and really take our time and really, you know, like I talked about, you study a single spider web for an hour long and look at every single intricacies. You feel like you're starting to dive into the Twilight Zone. Okay, it's like through all that detail that's like extremely magnified, we get into like this zone of appreciating everything. It's like everything we touch feels good. Everything we smell smells good. Everything, we're really turned on by our senses. We have beginning. Ooh, it's a good time to start a new job or a whole new career. You have creative ideas that get noticed. Build a nest egg for the future. Okay, that's a beginning. That's a beginning of sorts. We have emotional release. Wow. Catharsis and purification. Letting go creates space for new beginnings. All right. And yeah, so this is talking about new beginnings. This card says new beginnings on it. There's a lot of new beginnings popping up in this reading. Okay. And let's see what else we have here. We have growth and Virgo energy. Okay, and you know, the thing about Virgo energy is it's cautious and it really takes its time with something before it jumps into something right away, because it's the greatest opportunity ever and nothing can ever beat it. And you know, like there's many times as human beings we can get seduced by things. You know, a tacky salesman, car salesman on a car lot can seduce us into buying a car like way higher than we are prepared to pay. Like this type of thing, this is where we have to put our foot down against things that are trying to seduce us into an illusion that isn't good for us, right? And in order to do that, we have to be very detailed, very on our toes, and running the numbers, right? And I do like this Virgo energy with growth here in the Knight of Pentacles, because it talks about how on the outside, pile number 3, you may look like you're just having a good time and that you're very relaxed and you're very chill and you're not really concerned with things and you're just having a good time and all of that. But underneath it, you're running the numbers, you're doing a proof of concept, you're looking at the details, you're digging into the information, right? You're really like looking at something, and people may take your laid back, chill energy the wrong way. And they may take it as like you not being that big of a threat, or you being someone that can be taken advantage of or easily duped. And it's like, no, I don't think so. Not my pile number 3s, not with this energy, okay? And some of you are like, no, Natalie, you're right. People have tried to take advantage of me, especially when I was younger. They tried to take advantage of me in the past when I didn't know as much and I wasn't as confident in myself to really stand up for myself and call people out on their shit. People would really try to railroad me and get me to go along with what they were saying and doing, and be like the loudest voice in the room and really try to, and she said, and I feel like and she said, oh my gosh, it's so funny. I feel like I'm in a conversation right now, pile number 3, where you're like talking to me. And I feel like what you're saying, pile number 3, is this really pisses me off. Like it really pisses me off when people underestimate me and when people think I'm just like a silly, goofy girl or guy. Like that really does piss me off. And they don't see everything behind the scenes that I do in order to make something happen. And they don't even see the strings that I'm pulling and what I'm doing. And you know what? I'm not going to be taken for a fool, and fuck that. Okay. And I feel like there is some anger around this Aries eclipse that is definitely being released for you guys. And some of you could be very angry with an Aries or Capricorn with the double energy coming up here, or Virgo, because we have Virgo here too. But where you're just like, you know what? You're never going to take me for a fool. I'm older now. I know more about the world. You can't fucking fool me. Okay? Pile number 3. So that's good. We've got comfort. All right. And this is where, doing things that in the past we would have been uncomfortable with, or in the past that we might have avoided because, it was scary, or it was something we didn't normally do, or we weren't really having that type of role in the past. Okay. And for those of you looking to grow into a role that is more strategic and detail oriented, and you're wanting to like lead a department, or you want to be known for your creative ideas, but also you need to be the brains behind things, and you need to be running a business, or you need to be very detailed about something. Take comfort in your skills. No, I feel like you're very comfortable with yourself. You're like, no, even if I am brand new and I'm in a brand new beginning, I am comfortable speaking up for myself. I am comfortable. People have no idea what I've been through and how hard it's taken me to get to this point. And I am totally comfortable with myself. And I'm totally comfortable with looking at the numbers and running the numbers and presenting this thing and working on this thing. And if they think I'm going to be railroaded into like some, like figurehead, just like smiling and looking pretty, but not really doing anything type of role, like they can go fuck themselves, because that's not, I'm better than that, So good for you, pile number 3. And for those of you that have been consistently pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and at times it has been very uncomfortable, and you have had to face your fears about things, and you've had to admit that to yourself. Good for you. And the issue may be that no one really taught you how to do that, and that wasn't something that you were really taught in your family, and that you're a very like self-made person who's had to work very hard to get to where you are today, and you're more comfortable with yourself than you've ever been, and you're still a little bit pissed off though at the way that, you know, in the past people maybe railroaded you or didn't take you seriously. So pile number 3, I get it. Good for you and working through that. This is the abandoned carnival. What was once vibrant remains now silenced and still. This place held laughter, even if now no one could believe it. Okay? And this can be where it's like there's somebody who's just plain crazy. I'm also getting somebody in your life who had a very weird laugh, whose laugh sounded like an evil villain, or who legitimately at times could be very careless and destructive with the way that they acted. Maybe they had a temper and they would just go off and, you know, take it out on other people, and they were like legitimately unhinged or legitimately crazy. Okay, pile number 3. And I just feel like you're ready to put that darkness behind you, and you've survived through a lot, and you will not be intimidated, and you will not be, you will not be ignored, is what I feel. And if somebody starts acting that way around you, you are definitely going to put your foot down and call it out. Okay. Yeah, we have the Phoenix. Okay. You're moving into a new phase and you are ready to transform. And again, the word growth is on here. So that's growth 2 times. We have it on this card and we have it right here. And you're getting comfortable with like constant change, constant reinvention, constant growing, new beginnings, picking up, learning new skills, learning behind the scenes and the details of what's going on with everything. Okay. And yeah, you have changed your mind about something and you want to be involved. I feel like you've made a decision where in the past, maybe you're like, I don't care, or I'll just hang back or whatever, and be in the background. And I feel like now you're like, no, I want to be involved. Okay. I want to be at the center of this and I want to be involved, and I'm not just going to like hang out in the background. Okay. And, yeah, so we've got a new phase. We've got a transformation, a renewal, and a changing of your mind. I feel like pile number 3. Okay. And again, I feel like this coming week is like a cutout of a much bigger theme that has been playing out for you for a long time in your life. So it's not so much necessarily this week, although the Aries eclipse may bring a showdown that comes out where like somebody is actually trying to like, be like a master of illusion around you, and you're like, oh hell fucking no, I know this type of behavior. No, 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 no. I can see through it. I know exactly what you're doing, and I see what you've got going on there, and I'm not doing it. Okay. And I'll leave if I have to, is what I feel like you guys are saying. So I do feel like there is a flashpoint for you with that pile number 3, but this is like a longer theme of your life. And we have Mercury here. So this is about learning, studying, growing. Perhaps some of you have learned multiple languages. You've studied multiple subjects. You've worked really hard to train your mind in a particular way. You're more comfortable with like your strategic thinking and your like, there may even be kind of like a nerdy aspect where you and another person like nerd out about something, or where you're really comfortable talking to someone about like particular nerdy topics that you're really interested in, and you get into a really good conversation with this person, okay? Um and I do feel like there's a Knight of Pentacles here that is actually really good for you to connect with. It could be a Virgo, it could be... This Knight of Pentacles is actually good for you to connect with. They aren't as flashy as this like devil energy over here, but this devil energy like overplays its hand really quickly, and you see it for what it is like very quickly, okay? And I feel like you're too smart for it. Pile number 3, like you're too smart, and you don't let yourself get so comfortable that you can't like miss the signs of somebody trying to be screwy with you. So I mean, like, I feel you're way too intelligent to get caught up with someone who's intentionally trying to blow your spot up. You're like, oh no, 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 no. I see it. I see it. Okay. Like, you've got it. Pile number 3. And yeah, we have empowerment. This is a big thing for you. Information, knowledge sets you free. Growth, learning, study, getting comfortable with yourself creatively, new ideas. All of this is very much leading to the path of empowerment. The frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in a deep trust that we are all connected through the same source. So actually, yeah, this is showing up fully and completely. And I feel like that's you showing up as the Queen of Wands, and getting comfortable with this new these new powers that I feel like you are carrying within you. And it does represent a change in where you've been from the past. So pile number 3, that is what I am getting for you, my friends. I hope that you enjoyed your reading. I hope everybody enjoyed their readings, and I'd love to hear your comments or your thoughts. Take care.